welcome back to the regular exclusive podcast. And we're going to kick today off with a little bit of talk about some of the big hit movies that have come out with Backrooms and Obsessions. And then we're also going to wrap up on some trailers before we get into our movie. But let's kick things off. If you haven't seen either Obsession or the Backrooms, you are part of the minority of people because these movies are crushing it. They're both over $200 million in box office. Obsession has been out for, I think, a month, and Backrooms just finished its second week.
Yeah, crushing it.
Just crushing it. And it's two YouTubers, two young guys. One of them's like 26 and the other one's 20 years old. And
yeah, just turned 20. He's barely 20 years old. That's upsetting as someone in their mid 30s. But also, congrats to him. No, but it's an exciting time, and I feel like if you haven't gone to see those, like this is once again our plea, because those movies like were a really great theater experience, I think.
yeah,
and also just like demand to be seen on a big screen. And like Obsession, I feel like especially like you need to watch that with people, bring friends, get together, go watch it. It's so good. But Backrooms, like maybe, take an edible and go see it. That could be a lovely Sunday afternoon.
I mean, I saw Obsession opening weekend and it wasn't that packed. And Obsession did better the second week. It made more money the second week than it did its first weekend. But I saw Backrooms opening weekend. It was packed, like, and also packed full of like Gen Z kids. Like
there was a lot of younger people, but there was also a lot of like, I feel like there was a really good mix of age group in our showing, but like there was, I would say, a lot more younger people than normal.
Which is cool
this movie got Gen Z out, yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny. It's like, oh, you got these movies that are actually drawing audiences, and also these movies that aren't made on a on $100 or $200 million budget. They're made on small budgets, and
even like Iron Lung is one that was like literally
self-distributed, self-made,
even more independent than those guys, because those guys got studios backing them. This Markiplier, he's the studio. He's got YouTube on his side, but they don't really do this. So I think it's cool that there's so much like energy around horror and like these new up and coming talent, and like everyone's excited about what they're doing and what they're telling. And honestly, I think both Backrooms and Obsession are both just like two great examples of like original stories that we should be definitely like, please studios, learn the right lessons here, make more of these kind of movies. Don't like just make Obsession 2 or like the Backrooms 5. Like how many of those are they going to do? Probably 1 million. I'm pretty sure he's already like signed on for a sequel or something.
Yeah, I mean he has to with how successful it's been. And I mean it's it's wild. It's, we're in this era now where like we kind of seen it start with Zach Kreger, and then Raka Raka with Talk to Me and all this. And it's like there's a power now of like coming with your own audience, especially like Markiplier's. Markiplier's like one of the biggest YouTubers on the planet, and he just did this passion project, and he got all these people to come out and see his movie. And now we're
distributed it straight to the theaters without any studios or any like, distribution, like nothing. He did it all himself.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's like, there's now this alternative method that you can take to go and like get your movie made. And like you and I talk about this with how much we love Mark Duplass and the Creep tapes and all that stuff. And it's like, he just says, don't overanalyze it. Just go do it. Just go make something. And these guys, like especially like Obsession, it's like they just went and made a movie.
They did
less than $1 million budget. They did Milk and Cereal, which you really liked. It's like these guys are just going out and doing it, and it's like this could be a really exciting thing for us to see what happens. And also the fact that it's like, oh, who would have thought? Younger directors are drawing younger audiences. Crazy thinking.
So do you think the studios will catch on and learn the right things, or are they just going to go, we're going with sequels, the franchise, baby, that's all that matters? They're never going to like when will they adapt and change? When a new studio comes along and does something different, and then everyone's forced to change. I feel like that's like what happens.
See, I'm worried that they're not going to learn the right thing because I mean,
It's hard to quantify what exactly this exact equation to like repeat it would be, because it's
like,
kind of like a unique situation. Both of these movies could have easily been terrible, but they happen
yeah,
to be really great.
like here, I think A24 has already learned the right thing because A24 already did this with Raka Raka. And they are picking up creative people and letting them be creative. Now, I don't know if that's going to be the case with Obsession and Blumhouse, because for every great thing that
That is the
Blumhouse
case
puts
at
out,
Blumhouse.
but for every great thing that Blumhouse puts out, there's quite a few not so great things.
Oh, totally. But that's because their whole thing over there is also not to interfere. They do low budget, and they also like go ahead, make it. Like,
Yeah.
do whatever you need to. And like that's the thing, is that like people will say, like, Jason Blumhouse doesn't technically do that much, but it's more of like getting the movie like out there
Yeah.
and getting it funded, obviously. But like, so he does a lot in that way, but he's not like hands-on producers there. So that's what's cool though. I like that as a producer versus like, hey, let me give you the money. If I trust your vision, then go do it. And then like, that's how that's why there's probably not a great, like really high quality overall. Cause it's
Yeah.
like, if you give everyone the like fucking do whatever you want, that direction, that's gonna go wild for some people. It's gonna go really bad.
Obsession just paid for like the next 10
Totally.
Blumhouse failures. Like,
Yeah.
it's
You would think.
it's like Paranormal Activity. It's like that one movie paid for 9
Dividends for
sequels
the rest of their lives. Yeah.
that weren't very good.
God, in life, I'd love to do something just one time that would be like something like that. That's just like, good. I'm set for life. Great. That'd be lovely.
But
Oh,
the thing I'm really worried about is that like some big company like Warner Brothers is going to be like, hey, let's get Mr. Beast to make a movie. And it's like, oh god, this this is going to be bad.
no, no,
But it's
no. They
like
will though. Hopefully not Warner Brothers, but because it's being bought by Paramount, probably.
yeah.
And they'll use Warner Brothers' name like a fucking villain wearing the skin of them and be like, haha, Warner Brothers is doing it. But really, it's fucking Paramount once they get their
Yeah,
claws in them.
Paramount's going to screw it up. They're going to be like, wait, this isn't an existing IP. We can't do a sequel or a remake. Yeah, we got to find something else. But like, it goes back to even all the way back to like High Maintenance, the show on HBO. Like that started
It was
on
a great
YouTube, and
show.
it was like 10-minute things. And
Oh, yeah.
that's like one of my favorite shows ever. Like, I'll just put that on and I just love it. It's like
That's
an
a great one.
anthology series.
Yeah, it was like the initial episodes were like 10 minutes. And I remember being like, wow, like I've never seen like an episode of a show this short. And every time it ended, I was like, I could have used at least 10 more minutes,
Yeah.
But it's such a good show. I appreciate the idea that people can like put their stuff out there. If people respond to it, then you can maybe make a feature film and get your shot, which is a lot easier than like how it's been done before.
Yeah. It's
But
great.
we'll see if the industry like keeps investing in original stories. I think Blumhouse and like Atomic Monster, like James Wan, Jason Blumhouse, I think they're learning the right lessons, which is investing in these younger guys who have these visions. They said, I think James Wan, I saw a video that he was talking about. They saw the Backrooms like a long time ago online, one of his videos, and then they were like, he was like, "Oh, we want to meet this guy." And like when they reached out, like he was 16, they found out.
Yeah, like
And
he
that
was
was like
still
when
in
he
high
first made it.
school.
And they're like, wow, okay. Like, so it's pretty nuts, But hey, if you put it out there, like anybody has a chance, which is pretty exciting for like the shithole that we live in these times.
Yeah.
Everything sucks being out there. But hey, at least you can make your own movie. And like phones now, good enough that you can like record on there.
Yeah. It's crazy. But
I mean, some of the scenes from Scream 7 look like they were straight taken on an iPhone. So tell me I'm wrong.
oh god.
Should we go to
let's
through
talk
some
through
trailers?
let's talk through some trailers. We got three very interesting trailers, and they're all completely different, but they all look really interesting and fun. I mean, maybe one of them looks a little more heavy than the other, but start with Whalefall.
Yes.
You told me about this one. Essentially, this looks like a Jonah and the whale situation. Guy gets eaten by a whale, and that's really all we see in the teaser is him getting
Well,
eaten.
it's Austin Abrams from Weapons who played our favorite little druggy guy in that and who will be in the upcoming Resident Evil. Like that is
Yeah.
guy is just like on a roll for like shitty situations in life in these movies. He's having a bad day basically multiple times this year in film. But I love him and I think this looks like a great survival horror film, maybe. I've heard it's like less on like it's light on horror, but like I think the whole situation just seems horrific. But like he's swallowed by a sperm whale that he accidentally gets swallowed because it's attacking a giant squid. And
Yeah.
like the epic like the trailer is literally just that scene, which it seems like at first you're like, is this the whole movie? But it's like, no, this is like the opening probably. Like it's there's going to be flashbacks and stuff like that, but it's like I think he has like however many 90 minutes or some shit to survive in there. And he's
Yeah.
trying not to go, he's like stuck in the diaphragm, trying not to go down to the stomach acid
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
trying to like get out still. And it sounds like it's going to be like, I don't know. I'm excited. I think it sounds really stressful and tense, but the director, Brian Duffield, he co wrote it as well with the author of the novel, which it's based on, which is pretty cool. But Brian Duffield, he did that movie on Hulu that Jace, you and I have mentioned multiple times. No One Will Save You.
Love it.
Basically, non-speaking alien invasion movie that's just like really great style, and really incredible performance from Caitlin Dever. And then he also made Underwater from like a couple years before that with Kristen
I know
Stewart.
you really love that movie.
I love it. He didn't direct it, but he wrote it.
Yeah.
And I love that one. Um, but anyways, yeah, I think this one looks really like the action in the trailer looks incredible, don't you think?
Yeah, like it's an action-packed trailer and it looks fantastic. Like I want to see this on the big screen because I want to see this giant whale. Like
Yeah.
I want to feel like I'm seeing a whale in real life.
I thought you
And
were about
then
to say, I want to feel like I'm being swallowed by a whale. And I was like, ew, dude, that's TMI.
I mean,
Okay.
that's who knows what the 4D experience is going to be for this
I
movie.
was worried about that, but I'm like, dude, that would be so scary. I don't know if I could handle it. IMAX? No, thanks. I'll take it on the smallest screen possible. Thanks. You could
But
turn the volume down a little bit too.
but
Just
yeah,
the scuba diving in general stresses me out. So when you add an 80-foot, 60-ton sperm whale plus a giant fucking squid, I'm like, well, this looks like my nightmare. And then the fact that he's just trying to get away from it. And it's like, I didn't even know that there were whales that attacked. I forgot. I mean, obviously, that's why this is the one from like Moby Dick, that kind of one where it has like
yeah,
teeth and actually is violent, and kills. So
eating
I was just
eating
like
more than
stressed.
krill.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, it just sounds like a great, like, it kind of almost sounds like 127 hours, but instead of being trapped by a boulder, he's trapped in a whale.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I'm curious how it goes because I think people said the book has a lot of like flashbacks and emotional stuff with the dad who's played by Josh Brolin, so I'm sure that'll slap.
yeah, I'm really curious this because I really liked it shows him inside the whale and like when I think of somebody getting swallowed by the whale, I think of Jonah and the whale because I grew up in the church. And like the way that they kind of tell that story is like Jonah got swallowed by this whale and he had all this room to just kind of like hang out and chill, put up a couch and TV
Yeah,
sort of
uh-huh.
thing. Whereas like,
Pinocchio, they do the same thing. And you're like, so there's like air in there. And it is true because it's like they have that like thing in their esophagus that like fully closes off their throat.
yeah,
So like there is that esophagus area where it's just like air.
yeah, because whales breathe air, like they have the blowhole. They don't, I guess they don't have gills.
They don't
So
have blowholes for nothing,
yeah.
basically, is what you're telling me. That's not a sexual trait that they have.
But
Darn.
I mean, yeah, I'm excited for it. It looks really good. I also am real curious to see how him and that octopus deal with each other.
Dude, that thing
Inside the
looks
mouth.
stressful. It's a
Like,
squid, by the way. Those
oh,
things are, I don't
excuse
know.
me.
I think octopi, octopus, they're like, I feel like people have said that they're like so intelligent, like that we've learned at this point that it's like they feel. I feel like we probably should have eaten calamari anymore. They're like, these things remember you after like 20 years. I'm like, that's like a human, you know?
Yeah.
But squids, fuck those things. Those are huge. Octopi don't get up that big. I've never seen an octopus like as big as a giant squid. Those things can fuck right the hell off. So just the idea of like the ending shot of the trailer is him wrapped in the tentacles, like face to face with it. And I was like, no,
Yeah.
I would have been trying to drown myself the whole time swallowing water.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, I'm starting to feel like Austin Abrams, he's just, he's about to get typecasted as a guy who just deals with creatures.
I
He's
think
got
his life
Resident
is
Evil.
stressful enough. Yeah,
I think Gladys counts as a creature.
I
And
would
then
say so.
now the squid and whale.
Honestly, he just seems like I don't have enough stress in my life. I'm gonna just try and put myself in the most stressful situations in these movies because it's like his character it's always like it's 90 minutes, life or death. It seems like that's like his thing now.
He must be a
So,
real chill dude in real
oh, I
life. Like
bet.
just
Yeah.
a good hang.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, no, this doesn't phase him at all. He's like, man, this is what stress feels like, huh?
Yeah. Well, then our next one I'd never heard of, but this movie seems up my alley. It's called By Any Means. It's a Mark Wahlberg movie, which on the surface, I think in my mind, I'm kind of over Mark Wahlberg a little bit. He has some great stuff, in the 2010s, but lately, Departed, Ted,
The other guys.
Pain and Gain. He had a real amazing stretch from like 2000 to 2015-ish.
You saying Wahlberg's dried up a little bit? I kind of thought so too.
Yeah, I mean, once he started doing a prayer app and
Oh, is he on the prayer app too? No, really?
I'm pretty sure that's his app.
Oh God. God. Fucking
Yeah,
of course.
I don't know,
Okay.
but
Well,
this
great.
movie, By Any Means, it's him, and then it's got our guy who was in the legacy sequel for Candyman, which we both really liked. This just looks like Inglorious Bastards, but they're killing the KKK instead of Nazis.
It's like Black Klansman, which you haven't seen, but you got to watch that. It's Denzel Washington's son, John David Washington.
Yeah.
And Adam Driver is like the guy that they use to go undercover with the Nazis. And it's just really good shit. And then they end up going to like a huge KKK meeting, but it's really stressful. But I feel like this looks more of like the action vibe of that, where it's like it's taking like these like we're gonna go beat the shit out of people and fucking like kick some ass, take some names, fuck shit up, and then leave.
it looks good. Like it looks very entertaining, very fun.
Do you think it feels okay because he's under so many prosthetics that it's like, okay, I mean, I feel like it's still screaming Mark Wahlberg to me. There's no way that I wouldn't think that's Mark Wahlberg, but maybe it's like, at least he's trying something different.
The prosthetics did not stick out that much to me.
That's really mean of you to say. He might be a prayer app asshole, but he is beautiful. Okay.
I think I was distracted by the really bad wig. I think that's where my head was.
Don't be jealous, Jace. Of course, he went straight to his hair.
It's not his; it's somebody else's for sure.
No, that's his.
Well, then the last trailer is The Social Reckoning, which
that literally just dropped this week.
When I first heard that Jeremy Strong was going to be the Zuck, I was like, I really am not that crazy.
You mean Zuckerberg, Mark Zuckerberg by the Zuck. Don't call him the Zuck. That makes it sound like he's cool or like we're friends.
He wants to be cool. He grills meats. Come on.
If you call him anything, it's going to be bitch. Let's call him bitch. I don't want to call him anything else. But yeah, this is like the sequel to The Social Network, The Social Reckoning, and it's starring go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say Jeremy Strong seems a little bit of a try-hard ever since Succession. But
all the stories about him really don't help.
Yeah.
When it's like people talking about his method or weird shit that he does on set, and then like his fashion choices really don't help. Like this guy, everything about him screams, I'm a pretentious asshole. However, he is a goddamn good actor. I'll give him that.
He
This trailer was like, okay, sold. He's Mark Zuckerberg. Holy shit.
he looks the part, and
The voice.
the voice is
Yeah.
incredible. So
He really nailed that creep's voice, which is insane. Sorry, that bitch's voice. I don't want to misname him.
His cadence of how he talks, like it.
That horrible wig. Talk about wigs that are bad. I mean, it looks good because it looks like his shitty ass fucking hair, but like, it's great that we only check in with Mark Zuckerberg at the movies when he's in court.
Yeah.
When he's being put to trial for something or accused of something. And as I think both cases, he's guilty of everything too. So
yeah. So,
but this one also has some other people in it.
Yeah.
Besides him.
Jeremy Allen White, Mikey Madsen, Bill Burr. Like, yeah, it's got a bunch of people in it. Billy Magnuson.
Yeah. And it says that Mikey Madison, she's going to play the Facebook engineer who like is the whistleblower, right? Yeah. And Jeremy Allen White is playing the Wall Street Journal reporter who broke the story and exposed everything. This is going to be crazy. I think it looks good. It's written by the same guy who wrote The Social Network, Aaron Sorkin, but this time it's directed by him, and it's not directed by the king of all kings. You know?
Yeah, like, it's gonna be interesting without David Fincher.
Without David Fincher, this movie loses a lot. Like he is like I can see from the trailer they're trying to do it in a similar tone. I feel like the film looks kind of like it, but it's missing that extra something, you know, which is him.
Yeah.
You can emulate him all day, but it's not going to be the same. However, I haven't watched, I think Aaron Sorkin's directed a few things by now. So like I actually haven't watched it, but his screenplays are always intense and really good.
Yeah, he's only directed 3 things. He directed Molly's Game, which Molly's Game is really good.
That is a good movie.
It's too long, but it's really good.
Poker movie, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And then The Trial of the Chicago 7, which I didn't see, and then Being Ricardo's, which I had never heard of. So he doesn't direct very often.
Actually, that was with Javier Bardem and with Nicole Kidman for like the I Love Lucy.
Yeah.
Lucy and Desi.
Was that good?
I don't think so. I don't remember. I couldn't tell you. I wasn't really that interested, but it was like straight to streaming. I think it was like a COVID movie.
It's an Amazon original. So,
but it was just like, I feel like I didn't really like it overall. I don't remember much, but from what I'm calling up, it's not good.
If this is anything like Molly's Game, that I have a lot of confidence there. If they're trying to do the kind of tense thriller drama like Molly's Game, which seems kind of in line with it, then I have hope.
I hope it's got the same kind of tone as The Social Network, because it's like The Social Network was so good because it doesn't it presents everything to you, but it it very much tells you what the message of the movie is without telling you straight up in the script. It's like it ends open-endedly, but like the way that David Fincher shoots that ending is like, you're like, this is the loneliest, most pathetic man in the world.
Yeah.
And that's why we know that, like, you know, fucking thank God for Andrew Garfield and his character to get out. As much as it sucked to get fucked by him, but like at least he got away from him.
Yeah.
But I wonder if Aaron Sorkin will have that kind of a vibe, because I just don't think the visuals already are like they're not doing anything for me. Like when I see a Fincher movie, I'm like, yep. That's my shit. That's what I want to see all day, baby.
All right. Well,
shit.
Good shit for sure. I mean, we got a lot of good movies coming up. So
good trailer talk.
Yeah, let's take a little break and then get into Scream 7.
Ugh.
Hello? Hello, Sydney. Did you miss me? Nice little town you found. You and your pretty daughter. Reminds me of where we grew up.
Well, you sure know a lot about me for another asshole hiding behind a voice changer.
Oh, I'm not hiding, Sydney. Not this time.
fighter like you. If you hurt her,
I'm not going to hurt her until you're here to see it.
let's unmask this fucker.
All your friends died for just being near you.
Where is my daughter? Tatum, listen to me. He's trying to find another way in. We're gonna do this together. You're gonna have to shoot him through the wall. Where? To the right of the door. Shoot him now! Do it now! Oh, you got him. He's dead. You need to make sure you shoot him in the head.
I'm gonna burn it all down.
Mother!
This is gonna be fun.
All right, let's talk about Scream 7. I mean, I I don't know if I ever thought we were gonna get a movie, a Scream movie that was worse than Scream 3, but at least Scream 3 was really funny. But here we are, and I'm not exactly sure how we got here.
I can walk you through it, unfortunately, but I will say that I do feel that Scream 3 is now looked back, like everyone looks back on it just so much more fondly because of Scream 7.
Yeah, the Scream.
It already had its admirers, but I bet you it's grown like tenfold because Scream 7 is officially the worst one, and it by a long shot. Like this makes Scream 3 look like a masterpiece. And
Yeah,
Kevin
like
Williamson is like very much a part of this. So it's so confusing to me because he's like literally the creator of the entire franchise.
yeah, like the best thing that could have happened to Kevin Williamson was Scream 3 because that was the one where he wasn't involved. And like in my mind, Scream 3 was the one where the parents were drunk at the wheel a little bit. You know, Scream 1 and 2 were great. 3, they kind of got a little loose.
But you still had Wes Craven directing.
Yeah,
And all the main
it's also
players there.
really funny. Like it's probably the funniest of the Scream movies.
Parker Posey is such an icon
Incredible.
in general, but like that movie is one of her best performances ever. And
But
it's
yeah, like-
so great.
But yeah, like it's just kind of an oddball compared to the other two. And then they all got back together for Scream 4, which you know is my favorite of the Scream franchise. And so yeah, this
Wes
one was,
Craven passed then in I think 2012. Or no, was it he passed, Wes Craven passed after Scream 4.
yeah,
And then in 2022 is when we got Scream 5.
yeah,
And I think what happened was that the radio, it was Radio Silence, the directing duo that we love, who did Ready or Not and just the sequel, Here We Come or Here I Come. I feel like they delivered something a little different, and they took the story away from focusing solely on Sydney, which was, I thought, kind of refreshing because I felt like 4 kind of really brought it full circle with her and like the family element, and then like her niece trying to be the new her was great. And so then with 5, it was like she's still there, but we got Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega before she blew up with Wednesday. And
I
like
thought
those two for like going with the Billy Loomis like secret love child, I thought that was a great angle.
I thought what Radio Silence did was incredible.
Well,
in
plus
that,
the writers, I forgot to mention Guy Busick and James Vanderbilt.
yeah.
They co-wrote 5 and 6 together, so they also have like really driven this kind of fresh story, but like still feels 5 and 6 absolutely still have the Scream formula, the Scream feeling.
Yeah.
But they're just like, it's really, I think it worked really well, and it was a kind of a ballsy move because you never know. And Sydney was like one of the top final girls. So
Yeah, and I mean, I thought what they did was incredible because, like, how often, and like we just saw this with the Halloween movies, it is so hard for a franchise to get away from their main core cast and keep going. And the fact that Radio Silence was able to do 2 movies that were focused on 2 new people and not Sydney. Sydney was still a part, like you said, still a part of Scream 5 a little bit, but it really
She wasn't in New York, as they remind us a million times in Scream 7, as if that makes us feel like we're cooler because we know that. Like, hello, this movie. I wish I was still in New York.
yeah, like
Anyways,
it's like it is so hard to pivot away and draw the light onto a new set of faces. Like think about like
or
Top
even
Gun.
go back to, I think, to like go to new faces, but then like, well, in general, to go to new faces. You're right. Like Top Gun is one that also worked really well. I'd
Like
say most of the time it does not work. Like the
well,
new cast is never as interesting.
I was going to say Top Gun is not a good example of that because Top Gun still solely relies on Tom Cruise.
I thought Glenn Powell and I thought Miles
I,
Teller did great, and like they could
I thought they were
carry a
good.
movie.
I just don't think
I think that's a Tom Cruise thing.
it.
He
Yeah,
needs to let go of the throttle a little bit, dude. Like take a back seat. Let the new kids up to
but
bat,
like
you know?
I thought Radio Silence was like, hey, we're going to be able to keep Scream going for years with Melissa Barrera and Jen Ortega. Like the franchise is now not on their backs. We've
Mhm.
now passed the torch, and even like the villains, like with Jack Quaid, and him not being directly tied to Sydney. Like
None of it was about Sydney. She just was like she showed up because of Dewey.
yeah,
But yeah, they weren't even, and they didn't go after Gail. Like they both came to town willingly, and I like that. That it
yeah,
was like Dewey was the only one, and they killed Dewey, which was honestly like a bold move for your first venture out. But like their movie had stakes, as a Nora star. What's it, Mikey Madison?
Mikey Madison.
I
Yeah.
love when she says that because our movie has stakes.
Yeah.
Love her performance in this. But Scream 5 was just so good, and also like you said, everything is just so not dependent on Nev Campbell and Sydney. Like it's great when she's there, but she's like, only in like maybe less than a third of the whole movie.
Yeah, it's like it's Scream for a new generation.
Exactly.
And Scream 5 and Scream 6 both did really well.
And Scream 6 carried that on in a really like they could have easily failed because Scream 6 was the first one without Sydney at all. They mention her, but they're like, good for her, she's far away from here.
Yeah.
Because they brought the action somewhere else. And I think that made sense. And honestly, like I was kind of I feel like ever since 4, I'm like, I don't really know what else Sydney has left for like storyline, right?
Yeah.
I've always felt that way since 4 because I felt like it was just such a perfect film with her, and it was like full circle kind of a moment. And so like I think especially after Scream 5 and 6 working so well with something totally new, it's almost like, ugh, I don't want to go back to the old person.
And
Like
that
it seems lame to have to shift back to that now, which obviously is because of the behind the scenes drama, which we can get into. But
yeah, because that's the thing that's the most confusing about Scream 7 is that it feels like they took everything from 5 and 6 and the lessons learned and the success that they did have in like kind of revitalizing this franchise, and they're like, yeah, fuck that. Let's just go back to basics. And I don't even want to say that because there's a lot of times where back to basics is a good thing. This felt lazy as fuck. This was like, hey, let's go back to suburbia. Let's go back to Nev Campbell. Let's go back to Courtney Cox. Let's go back to one of the, I don't want to say main characters, but supporting characters being a cop, because
always
Joel McHale is there. I think Joel McHale is there purely to be a tall person. I think that's his entire.
It's only because they couldn't get Patrick Dempsey because he had scheduling conflicts and they weren't going to like hold it for him production wise, and they really should have, because he was the one that like she ended up with at the end of Scream 3, and then in Scream 5 when she's on the phone and she's like pushing like a stroller with baby twins,
Yeah,
and he says, how's Mark? I think Dewey says, how's Mark? And she's like, oh, he's great. And so they were like stuck with the name, but like Radio Silence said their intention was like Patrick Dempsey would be like that character that he played, Mark Kincaid, the police detective. Yes. So that was the plan for 5 and 6. But then because Radio Silence is not here anymore and they don't have like their say on it, they just, and also because they couldn't work it out with Patrick Dempsey, they just cast Joel McHale instead. And I was like, what a fucking just like waste of space in this movie. Like I kept thinking like maybe he's the killer. I don't know, because it's like Joel McHale, give him something to do. This is just weak sauce. And I was really hoping that they give him something interesting, but no, or at least kill him. And no, not interesting or anything. But this movie really, I think the reason that it had to go back to basics was because they like totally shit the bed by firing Melissa Barrera from
So that's kind of
the
where all
picture.
this starts off, right? So
Yeah.
before we get to that, I wanted to ask a quick question. Was Radio Silence originally, were they going to do Scream 7, or was they were only
No.
going to do 2 and then Christopher Lambert was going to take on
Landon. So
Landon.
the deal was because obviously like Kevin Williamson has still been close with like all the production and producers and like working on the films for 5 and 6, but like I don't think he had as much say. But either way, after they had already made their intentions known before like Scream 6, I think, came out, that they were wanting to take a break and do something different, and they wanted to do Ready or Not 2.
Yeah.
And so they were like, we're just going to go do that. And so they were like, we're leaving the franchise. And then it was still going to be Melissa Barrera, Jenna Ortega. And then they announced Christopher Landon was brought on as director, who did Happy Death Day.
Perfect guy to do a Scream movie.
Yeah, so good. And he was attached, I think, as director. And then like a little bit later, it was like November 2023 is when it was like announced officially that Melissa Barrera had been dropped from Scream 7 because of her social media posts where she described the country of Gaza as a concentration camp and like compared what's going on there. Yeah, saying that it's ethnic cleansing genocide, which is not incorrect, but basically saying like I'm anti-genocide and anti-concentration camp is somehow anti-Semitic to the studio.
This was a tweet in years ago,
2023.
Before what's going on right now, where everyone is really upset with Israel and everything going on with Iran and stuff. But like, so this is like, I feel like the pro-Palestine conversation was heated then, but it not nearly what it is now. And she got fired being the face of this new franchise, well, I guess revitalized franchise, over a tweet, which is crazy in hindsight.
Yeah.
Like it was crazy back then, but especially now it's like, are you serious? Like you had 2 successful movies, and like I don't really think that a lot of movie studios, whenever people say like, oh, they're woke, I'm just like, I think they're just trying to make money. And the
100%.
people who hate woke stuff, sorry, you guys aren't that profitable, but like,
right, you're not wrong.
Like I don't think a lot of these studios do content for these other audiences because they're woke. I think they're just trying to tap into markets where they can make more money.
100%. It's all about the money for them. But this is really ridiculous. So because that Spyglass and whatever, that they determined that was anti-Semitic, and so she was dropped immediately. Next day, like the following day, it was announced that Jenna Ortega
had scheduling.
She said she had scheduling conflicts with Wednesday season 2, which she later said she lied about, and that was just because if Melissa Barrera is not there and the directors aren't there, what am I doing? This doesn't seem like the right choice for me. So I think like maybe they were thinking they could keep Jenna Ortega, and then obviously like they have 3 out of the core 4 from 5 and 6, so maybe that would work, but it did not work out. It clearly immediately was not an option. So then they were reworking the story, and then I feel like within a few months, Christopher Landon announced he was leaving, and he announced that it was because he was so disappointed because he has always wanted to be a part of the Scream franchise, and he actually was an intern on the original Scream for Kevin Williamson, which I found out. Yeah. And so he was so excited to be actually like directing it, but because I think basically because of that, or because of her leaving and everything, they announced that Christopher Landon was leaving like within a few months, because he said he was getting like just death threats and shit from fans who were like so upset that Melissa Barrera was fired, and they thought it was his fault.
He had anything to do with it.
So he just said it was like miserable, and he didn't want to be like a fucking like problem for the production or whatever because of all this shit. And he also was like fucking scared for his life. and
Well, and
totally
that's
understandable. So
and
he's like,
I'm
I'm gonna back out, and that really sucks. Like this, I feel like this movie was doomed already, and I hate that it's the most profitable one, but like they literally had to just start from scratch with one of the writers because they only have story by James Vanderbilt, Guy Busick, but Guy Busick and Kevin Williamson co-wrote this screenplay. So I put the most of the blame on them.
yeah.
And also, but I would say like 90% of it goes to Spyglass for firing Melissa Barrera without like even thinking about the repercussions.
Yeah, and it's like, so I mean, so I think an important thing to point out, especially like with Christopher Landon, because you and I are big fans of him. I think it's easy for a lot of people to look at movies and like when they see a director's name, they assume that like the director is like the person that is quarterbacking the entire movie. And because we think of like a Tarantino who's like a writer director, we think of Scorsese, like
Certain ones, yeah.
like those big name people, but it's like not everyone is like those are the small minority when it comes to the movie industry where they have that much control of a film. And when it comes to like casting, that really falls on the producers of the movie because the directors, they run the actual like production of the movie. When things are being filmed, they are watching over all that stuff. They're not necessarily involved in the casting and the decisions of the casting unless you're like a huge name director that you are listed as a writer, director, producer, like you're involved in all that stuff. Christopher Landon was not someone who was in the decision room for, hey, we got to get this Melissa girl out of here. And so
literally, I think it was like
people
barely announced that he was even attached to the project. Why did people attack him? It's like clearly Spyglass is the one that put out the fucking statement as well.
Yeah. So
all the evidence pointing to the contrary, but we need a fall man. We don't have like who is Spyglass? That's a whole corporation that needed somebody, I think, to get mad at.
Yeah, it's like whenever we see a Martin Scorsese movie that comes out and then Leonardo DiCaprio is attached to it, it's like, oh, shocker. Well, that's because it's Martin Scorsese. Like they have that kind of
Tim
control.
Burton for a while. It was like, who's the like female lead? Helena Bonham Carter.
Yeah, like
no
those are like the top tier, directors in the business that like have that kind of control of stuff.
They get Final Cut and all that. Christopher Nolan, like not every, like all the other directors, every single other director, even those guys still get like studios trying to take Final Cut from them and try to put in things. But like, it's really rare that you are the director and it's your complete vision entirely unchanged.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
but the screenwriter, if you're writing certain characters into the script, then that is your fault. And I still put it on Kevin Williamson.
So yeah, I mean, we can switch over to the movie itself. I mean,
but I was just saying this, like, yeah, I don't know if you have anything else. We were just basically wanted to get that out of the way quick of like how we ended up at this point because it sucks and we hate it.
Yeah,
we hate it here.
We're doing this pod because we want it to be on record. We want to voice ourselves in that this is not the direction that we want this franchise to go in, even though this franchise is the most successful movie in the franchise. We don't agree with the money. Please don't do this because it's not good.
They're not going to listen. They're already probably in pre-production, starting Scream 8, going, this is great. We'll just do Sydney and her daughter again. That worked out well. Fuck. I don't even want to think about it. They should just name it Stab at this point. I would feel better if they did, because this movie, like from the get-go, I was like, I think this is a Stab movie that we're watching. And then it never turned off and like was like, oh, actually it's Scream. It was just a Stab movie the whole way through.
And it mentions Stab quite a bit in the movie. And I meant to ask you, like, I remember Stab being a big part of Scream 2 because the whole opening kill is at a Stab movie. Scream 3, Stab is heavily involved. I don't really remember 4.
The whole opening bit is like multiple Stab movies. Remember that they're watching and it's like 3, 4, 5 or something, and they're like each one watching the previous one, and then it's like they kill each other. It was like some crazy thing. So they've done a bit about the Stab movies in almost every one. I don't know if they really touched on them. They touched them on a little bit in Scream 6, but that was mostly about the real killers and like
Yeah.
their legacy.
Well, like
And
Scream 5 is heavy on stab.
Scream
because
5 is heavy on stab
yeah.
as well because they talk about it. And so they're the ones that like I would say because like they give a bit of the like lore for stab movies in 2, 3, because that one I think we're at like stab 3 at that point. And that's the one that's like it
Yeah.
literally takes place on the stab movie set. And so I feel like every movie except for really 6, I don't know, I got to rewatch it to double check, but I feel like almost all of them add a little bit more lore, but like definitely 4 and 5 add the most. And 5 catches you all the way up to 8, which is like the one that the Knives Out guy did, and everybody hated it because it wasn't a stab movie. And honestly, like all of the criticism that
Wait, was Ryan Johnson the person who did a stab movie in Scream 3?
in Scream 5, that's what they're
Scream
saying.
5.
Yeah, if you watch the video of like the Dead Meat, it's like the Dead Meat podcast, like whatever.
Yeah.
It's their video talking about why Scream 8 sucks and why it like totally failed. And literally like they're just like, they go through all of that in the video too. So
Because
it's just really funny.
I was like, if that has to be a joke about how Ryan Johnson ruined Star Wars.
He didn't, but yes.
I
To
said,
the fans.
we agree because The Last Jedi is the most
It's-
interesting Star Wars movie in the last
100%.
decade.
And I thought it was perfectly fine because Star Wars could be a lot of things, but like I feel like the Scream formula and the Scream movie is pretty specific.
Yeah.
And it's like it's not one that you could really experiment that much with it. So like I kind of understand their criticism. However, if there was some universe where Ryan Johnson did Scream or Stab 8, but he just called it Stab and it was totally different, I'd probably still be into it because I trust Ryan Johnson with my life, I think.
That
But
I
it's
would
just my content.
I would see a Ryan Johnson stab movie because Ryan Johnson, he does an incredible job of the whodunits.
Exactly. This would be so
that's
good.
Scream. It's
Yeah.
who's Ghostface.
As long as the whodunit is strong, he can have a flamethrower for all I care. I don't care. Like in the clip that they show, they're like, "What is this? Ghostface doesn't use a flamethrower." I'm like, I don't know, man. But when you said earlier that this movie was lazy, I thought that that was the perfect thing because I also felt like this is probably the laziest Ghostface out of all of them. Like the Ghostface, even it's just like the kills are pretty lazy and like almost like, oh, this might work. Okay, cool. Like, no, I just made me really want to rewatch Terrifier 2 and 3, especially just because Art is so joyful when he kills. It just makes it more entertaining.
Well, I mean, I will say, there are a couple things in this movie that I'm like, I like the idea, but I don't like the execution. But I did like the opening scene. I thought that was good. Like they go back to the house and
it's fine, but it's not anywhere compared to any of the opening scenes. But
yes,
before we get into the movie, can I list off the things that I put down as like these are what every Scream movie has, like the Scream formula. What makes up the Scream formula? Before we talk about how this movie fails the formula.
This is a good precursor because the opening is an important part of every Scream movie.
Yes. Okay. So what every Scream movie has, number 1, easy, Ghostface. Voice changers.
Yep.
And sometimes they use that in different ways, but mostly it's just Ghostface voice. Top tier opening scene, calls to victims and or Sydney, main group of friends as suspects, horror movie rules, killer reveals, and a third act climax. The cops and like stuff are kind of usually a part 2, but like I don't care. That's a little minimal. I was gonna add the like Red Right Hand song, but I'm like, that's not in every one. But I feel like that's like kind of the basics of like that is what makes up a Scream movie. And like all of your group of people who are your suspects, they all have to be suspicious. It can't be too obvious, and anybody who's obvious is not going to be the killer, is what you think, right? That's like the typical thing. So that's what I think is like every single movie. So let's start with how this movie fails, because it completely fails every single category. But let's start with the opening scene because
I'll say
it's better than the rest of the movie. I'll give you that.
I'll say it is top tier in comparison to the rest of the movie.
That's what I'm saying. It's better than the rest of the movie, but it is nowhere near as good or impactful as Scream 1 through 6.
Yes.
Like those openings were great. I still remember my theater reaction when I saw Scream 6 and Ghostface says, "Who gives a fuck about movies?" as he slashes the guy. And I was like, Ghostface does. What the fuck? This is crazy. Like that was so awesome. I don't care that the ending can be a little silly on that one. I still fucking love it. But
yeah,
the
like,
opening needs to be something that energizes you for the rest of the movie. And usually it will have a connection or in some way have something to do with the rest of the movie. This movie feels like they just needed Stu Macher's house for AI videos. And so they killed whoever was there. And it feels really lazy.
oh, is that why they did it? Because
I mean, is there another reason that Stu's house comes into play? Like, I don't think so.
I liked the
Actually,
idea.
they didn't even use it for the AI because they burnt it down as soon as they killed those
Well,
people.
and was
so.
that actually the house? Okay.
Yeah, it's a real Airbnb you can go stay at in I think Santa Rosa, California.
Like I liked the idea of there being an Airbnb sort of house that you can stay in. That
I
like
think it makes sense because there's true crime. Like there's real places where horrible shit happened and they make like a bed and breakfast.
yeah.
But it does make sense. But it's like it feels a little bit more realistic in our version because it's like movies, but like
Yeah.
they literally have like pools of blood where like real victims died. I'm like, that's a little fucked.
The,
Did they do that in real? Like, I mean, maybe they do. I don't know how macabre these places are, but like Jesus.
the one part of the opening that I thought was really dumb is like I liked how they play with the whole like robot and how the robot like tracks you and moves its head and stuff, and like it shows you the parts. But then when they go into the other room and then the killer gets into place and he kind of assumes that spot, when he pops out and like attacks them and she falls over on the couch, you can see the robot's body parts just on the floor next to the couch. I'm like, so no one saw the robot parts just on the couch next to all this. Like, I get like you're in a heightened situation, your boyfriend's trying to scare you, blah, 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 blah. But like those aren't small pieces of things. So it's like, hey, why is the robot on the couch? Like that wasn't there before.
Case, if you start questioning in the opening scene, just get ready because the rest of this movie is just like, how can we make the characters do the dumbest shit possible and behave like just totally dumb and make all kinds of terrible decisions? Let's start here by pulling apart the robot and nobody's going to notice. Huh, that thing looked weird. Let me check around it, see if those pieces are. Oh, okay.
Also, he did that making no noise at all.
Yeah. I mean, it was pretty nuts. Also, like, these people are just like staying here. They didn't do anything. Just show up on a different night to shoot your AI shit. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they shot it. They clearly must have shot it beforehand. So who knows? Like, that's the thing that makes it even more baffling. Why burn down Stu's house? Is that just for like part of the backstory on Stu being alive? Is like he went home and burned his house down? Why would he do that?
Yeah, it's valid.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying. There's so many questions to be said and had in this movie. The best part about the opening, though, is that it has Jimmy Tatro,
Yeah.
who is just delightful. And
Love him
he
in
was
theater
that-
camp.
Theater Camp was so good. And what's that Netflix show where it was like a fake true crime thing? And it was like they were investigating the pranks at the school. American Vandal.
Yeah, American Vandal.
And it was him. He was like he was accused of drawing the dicks on all the cars. It was so funny. He's just great and everything. So he's like, I think the reason that I'm like, this is a decent scene.
I really wished he was in the rest of the movie because I love him and everything he's in.
They killed him way too quick with the face and then his eye rolls over. I was like, that's not even that cool.
Yeah.
When they stab him in the head and like his eye rolls over, I'm like, hey, Anthony Anderson was stabbed in the forehead in Scream 4, got out of his car, blood flowing, swinging wildly, and said, fuck Bruce Willis. Like, that was epic. We don't need another head stab. Like, unless you're gonna do it better than that. These like, and also like the chick falling from the thing, and then like he just rolls over with the knife. I was like, oh, lucky fucking move, Ghostface. You're like fucking lazy ass. Like, actually get up and stab somebody.
That's one of the things that was in my head as I was enduring this rewatch was like, none of this movie is original. Like everything is just taking from other Scream movies, and then
a lot of Halloween movies.
Yeah, a lot of Halloween movies.
I just learned recently that Kevin Williamson's favorite movie is the original Halloween, and I think that makes a lot of sense when you watch this movie because it feels like even the setting is like Halloween, kind of like literally it's like what, October or some shit, and like it's like fall, windy. That just feels like Halloween. the movie, not the season, but also the season.
Yeah, and this movie has a lot of feels like a lot more similarities to something like a Halloween than a Scream movie, because even like the way the killer operates
He
is
behaves like Michael Myers in this movie, not like Ghostface at all.
this is the for one of the things I always think of when it comes to Scream movies is that it's all about cardio. There is a lot of running, there's a lot of chasing, and this movie doesn't have very much of it. Like
No.
Ghostface is doing the least amount of running as possible, along with the rest of the
Lazy.
cast.
Yeah, exactly. And it just feels like there's not like the only real chase scene is with the daughter, and it's the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Are you talking about at the beginning?
Well, sorry, both times with the daughter at the beginning and then later on. They're both the worst chases in the history of film, and they're both in this movie. Which is crazy because Kevin Williamson has arguably given us the best chase scene. I know he didn't direct it. Jim Gillespie directed it, so maybe we should give him the credit because I'm sure it just was like she runs away from the killer, unless he really designated like this entire chase scene. But like that could have just been the director, and I Know What You Did Last Summer. But like Sarah Michelle Gellar, her chase scene in that is the best chase sequence of all time.
Well, like the chasing between I Know What You Did Last Summer and Scream, it's like clearly this is written into the story, like these chases, because like both those movies have incredible chases. And then like in Scream 2, you have the amazing chase through the college and like through the classrooms and stuff. And it's like this is part of the identity of this franchise. It's like these really great chase sequences. Also, it's really important that Ghostface is kind of clumsy, because every movie he like, whether there's always multiple, and so whether they're both clumsy or just one of them is really clumsy, it's important because that's part of like what makes it stand out. And it's like, people grew up with like Freddy Krueger, who he's a ghost, so he just pops up wherever he wants.
But like Jason and Michael Myers are like the same as like they can just like take a hit, but they don't show any emotion. They don't like, if you try to throw something at them, it just bounces off. If they fall down, they slowly get back up and stand up and keep walking. Like that's all they do. They act like nothing phases them. Whereas like Ghostface clearly gets phased by shit. He gets
Ghostface is just a dude.
He's not as bad as the one in Scary Movie, but like they really they expand upon it in that. But like it's almost like that a lot. Like that's why I think Ghostface is usually teenagers too. So maybe that's also part of the reason. We'll get into that later. But like I just feel like this movie just really was lazy on a lot of fronts. But you're right, like between the opening scene, which just feels like a very like you put it into AI of like, give me an opening scene for a Scream movie. Like it feels like we could just throw it together and come up, oh, Stu Macher's house, great. We haven't already been there in Scream 5 or anything. The whole climax of Scream 5 happened there. Let's go back. Like, why? We just were there. Go somewhere else. Go to the Stab movie set. Do anything. But it feels like everything that they do just feels lackluster in this film. But like, I think especially with the chases and the kills, those usually are sequences that like, they're always, at least the opening has a great kill and a great chase. And in this movie, we just don't get that anywhere. And I feel like it's one of those elements, like you're saying, that's just like, this is baked into the DNA of a script of a Scream movie. It's crazy that this movie would have Kevin Williamson as such a part of it and not be like, we need some good chase sequences. Because I don't know if you want to talk about it right now, but the one that really, don't get me fucking started on the panic room with the second exit connected through the walls. What the fuck is that?
Not a panic room.
No, that's just a fucking dumbass thing that you built in the house that you never finished.
Yeah, so I mean, let's just go and get there. So I mean, where everything starts is Sydney is married to this tall guy.
I don't want to talk about. Let's not run through the whole plot of the movie.
Well, no, I did just want to say for the sake of the panic room.
Of this. Okay.
For the sake of the panic room, I was very confused. So best case scenario, Sydney owns that coffee shop, like she runs it, and then her husband Mark is chief of police. I don't understand how they can afford a panic room
in their house.
Yeah
100%.
I mean, unless there's some
that's probably why they never finished fucking building the back wall. It just goes, oh, we've got to. I love it how they get in the panic room and they shut the door on Ghostface, and you're like, well, game over, man. He's got to get out of here. He could bang down that door all day. He's not coming in. But then she's like, okay, now we can get out through the back exit, the second exit. I'm like, bitch, you're Sidney fucking Prescott. You're telling me you got two. The whole point of a panic room is that there is no second exit. That is the whole point. No other way in.
Yeah, and the fact that the exit is just the space between the drywall and the outside, it's just like that's not a panic room. That's just a reinforced steel hallway that you've made.
This screams that like the husband never finished it or something. And then Sydney, though, of all people, should be like, you fucking finished that panic room. That's the first thing we need finished in this house.
Well, and the crazy thing is that, you know, everyone in our generation, we all saw the movie Panic Room.
Thank you. I was about to say.
So we have a pretty good
spent an hour and a
understanding
half
of
in
what
one.
a panic room is. It's one
I've
way
never
in,
seen
one
one
way
outside of
out.
it.
But the thing that drove me insane through the entire panic room sequence is one, they leave the panic room as soon as they get in it.
Immediately. It's barely there.
But then also, all the cops are still there. Like the cops were sweeping the house. So where did they go while this attack was happening? Like
They were outside smoking cigarettes together and they couldn't hear all the screaming and all the action. It's like, really? Okay. And then also, like, immediately they're like, we got to get out of here. And I was like, bitch, why the fuck would you tell her to leave as soon as you get in here? And also, he's at the door and she's like, we have a second way out through the walls. And I was like, Sidney fucking Prescott would never. That's all I said. Like, she would never. That is so dumb. She was so smart in every other. I mean, when she showed up in 5, she was all business. I got a tracker. I put it on the girls. Like, fucking, let's go. Let's fucking do this shit. I don't trust this bitch. Shoot her. Like, just fucking great, you know? And it feels like this movie undoes a lot of the stuff that felt like Sydney is like fucking Linda Hamilton in Terminator, is how I felt after like Scream 5. And then in this one, it feels like we've gone down that way, and they're trying to make it like she's Jamie Lee, or they're not doing the Jamie Lee and the Halloween thing, but like they should have, because Sidney Prescott would not fucking live like this. Let me tell you.
The smartest thing she does is also in this sequence where the guy is stabbing through the wall and then she bashes the knife and bends the knife around the 2x4. I'm like, that's pretty smart. But like, that doesn't really redeem the rest of what just happened.
Doesn't redeem shit. If you were in the panic room, you wouldn't have to bend a knife through the walls. Okay. And he also stabbed her right before that. So it's really not worth it. It just feels like a slap in the face that Nev Campbell wasn't like, why didn't she go, hey, I don't think my character would have a half finished panic room. I think that I would have made sure that thing got done. If you're telling me it's not finished, this is the finish. I don't like it. I would have been like, throw it out. We need a full panic room. There needs to be no, like, we could spend an hour and a half in there for the movie. That'd be fine. But it's like, there's just no way. You don't need that. And they don't need the element. There was no point except for to get Ghostface run over in the car by Gale and then play the music and have her come out of the car like an Avenger. And I was like, this is dumb. I'm so glad I didn't see it in theaters.
I'm so glad you said that, because I was pissed at the whole panic room thing. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna hate this movie. And then when Gail just vehicular manslaughters a person, zero context. She didn't think she was saving anyone. She's just like, hey, run that guy over. And then they did. I was like, this movie's gonna suck so bad. And then she comes out with the Avengers music.
And this shot, like the way that they zoom up, it's like, this is important. And it's literally like
I was ready for her to be like, I could do this all day.
I thought she was gonna say something like that, or like go with her like oh, sorry, did I get a little too close up for you? Like, I don't know, something stupid. But either way, it was pointless. And but I think that's the whole reason that they couldn't have just like, they had to have some scramble with the guy and go running out through the house and into the front yard in order to like make that scene work. But like, why did we need that scene? There's no reason that Gail should be rolling up like fucking Captain America, because it's not like she died in the last movie. They should have killed her. I agree. Scream 6. I think, well, maybe not her, but Chad at least. He fucking was stabbed 18,000 times.
They should have killed her in Scream 6, because then that would have set the franchise up to have no ties to the previous regime, and then they could just go forward. But no, they didn't have the courage to do that.
They've done everything wrong, but they've made the most amount of money. So, Jace, we're just speaking to the insane asylum at this point, but I don't care. I want everyone to know that I don't care if no one listens. I want to just say everything out loud so that it's on record, because this is garbage. Spyglass really, I mean, I can't believe I'm thinking back to like back in the good old days when this movie was with the Weinsteins, but like, man, it was so much better back then. I hate to admit it.
So on a serious note, I wanted to ask you about
For now.
Yeah, for now. I wanted to ask you about Stu coming back, because I actually think
This will be a good transition to Suspects, I think was where we should go with this.
Okay. I
Overall.
actually think there is a good storyline that involves the idea of Stu coming back, or Stu still being alive.
I wish Stu was still alive. I think that would have worked better for me, weirdly, even as unrealistic as it would be. I don't care. I want Matthew Lillard.
The AI stuff sucked, and then also the way that they delivered it sucked, because like they immediately are like, oh, this is AI, but then they start to be like, maybe he is real, but it's like, no, you guys are just talking about how this isn't real. You suddenly saying, I think it is real, doesn't make me as the audience person believe that it's real.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy that,
but it
that
would
the
have worked better
writers
for
were,
you, right?
Yeah, like I think there is a good story, because like the sequels really revolved around Billy.
Mm-hmm.
And they even say in this movie, Stewie was always like the side guy.
Stewie? He was never called Stewie, but that's
sorry.
cute.
I call him
Damn
Stewie.
you, vile woman.
Damn you, vile woman.
It'd be hilarious to see Matthew Lillard deliver those lines.
But like, I think there is a good story to involve Stu, because he has kind of been sidelined to Billy since the original movie. And everyone's
barely been mentioned by anyone who ever goes through the history of the killers. They always will mention Stu as like a secret thing, but it's always like he's just kind of a mention. He's never like actually like remembered. It's always Billy.
I mean, I think a real plot line similar to like Scream 2, where like Billy's mom is the killer. I think there could be a family member of Stu that comes back and is really hateful for how Stu was depicted in the Stab movies. Like, I'm getting a little woozy here.
Yeah. I honestly love that. And I wish that was happening too. Or even if it was Stu coming back from the dead to do it himself, not as a ghost, but like he literally didn't die somehow from getting electrocuted with the television on his head. I don't know how they would ever make that happen, but I would be fine with that. Or like you said, that I thought the neighbor friend who Anna Camp from Pitch Perfect, I was like, okay, well, she's just not in this movie for no reason, right?
And she's really good in this.
She's great, but her character makes no sense. It's stupid motivation. They should, because she's a Ghostface. All the people who are like, except for the first Ghostface unmasking, but we'll get to that. But what I wanted to say about this is just that I thought it would have been great if she was Stu's sister, because I'm pretty sure they mentioned that Stu has a sister, because he has like a nephew in Scream 5 that gets killed. So he has a sister, and I think they mentioned it in the original movie, something about a sister. So like they could have made it like she was Stu's sister.
And that would make so much more sense than what they actually did.
I'm mad you weren't in Scream 6, basically, is the whole point of the angry killers in this movie. And it's like, you guys are so dumb. Like, that is the dumbest thing. It wasn't even like they were mad. It was just like, it's so stupid. They were just trying to make it because people were annoyed that Sydney wasn't going to be in 6. But like 6 made him a ton of money. People really liked it. And also like, I think it was a brave move to do that. So it's okay. And this movie's trying to like make fun of it for doing that. And I just feel like it really does not land anytime they do that. But it's often that they like, that's the whole motivation for anybody in this movie. But like the weirdest part too is that out of all the other suspects outside of Stu, it's like any of the kids, we barely get to know them before they're dead. So it's like, which kid could it be? I don't care. And any of them, they're all boring.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, all the teenagers, I was shocked at like they introduce a few of them and then kill off a few of them. And then it's like, all right, so what are we doing?
Okay. So this
like McKenna Grace, probably the most famous one too. She's introduced and then murdered.
is that the girl who dies on stage?
Yeah. She's the one from she started like a lot. She's been in the Ghostbusters movies. She's gonna play Daphne in the new live action Scooby-Doo on Netflix.
Okay.
She's also she was.
I
in
saw the live
Sabrina.
action puppy. Very cute.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But just get out of here with that shit. We've got the movies. We're fine. But I think she started in Haunting of Hill House. She played the Kate Siegel character, young Theo, like the
Oh
young version of
yeah.
her.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And she
She's
was so
good.
good. She's been in a lot, but she's just like, I think, a really interesting performer and like actress. But like that's why I was like, so we're gonna murder her immediately? Like, why? Why? Why are we doing this? That was really pointless.
Pointless. I thought that was a pretty good kill until it got really gory.
Again, lazy though.
like
He's got her on a string dangling and he just puts the knife up and kills her. Like, that's pretty fucking lame.
yeah, that's we'll get to the kills.
Lazy.
We'll get to the kills in this a little bit later. But on the topic of the young people and suspects, one of the things that popped into my mind as I was watching this is this movie kind of feels like it was written by Eli Roth. The way that Eli Roth like depicts young people and just
Oh
them
my
being
God.
being
Yes.
really dumb and just
Yeah.
saying dumb shit, and also how all of them are so overly suspicious. Like
The neighbor's kid who's like obsessed with true crime and like, I'm not creepy is like one of his catchphrases in this movie. I swear.
and
He
then
says it like 100 times.
and then the boyfriend is just doing a Billy Loomis impression.
Every time he's like, I'm a good guy. It's like he's so creepy the way he says it, or he's like, I would never hurt you. It's like every time he said it, he made his voice like all creepy like that. And I was like, ew, like what the fuck is that? And I was like, maybe if you didn't sound like a fucking creep when you say these things. And also when she catches his laptop with like the Stu AI video, I'm like,
I was just
you
seeing
didn't
if I could do it, if it was possible.
you didn't have to say about how you can't wait to kill Sydney. Like you could have just said, hey, I'm testing this AI just to see if it works. Like that would be a little bit more normal. Like, what the fuck, dude? Why are you testing it with that kind of language? That just feels like a little bit suspicious on purpose. And then the fact that she just like hits him with the laptop, then it's like, as soon as she jumps out of the car, Ghostface is there. I was like, I would have been like, dude, there's a body in there, not even moving. Perfect cray, especially for this Ghostface. They would just take it.
That was the one thing that I was wondering that I meant to ask you was, so she sees that, she hits him, she runs, then Ghostface pops up. And then when he runs into her again, like right before the very final encounter, and he's like, I didn't do it. And she's like, I know. And he's like bleeding from the head. I was like, is that the head wound that she gave him?
Supposedly from the laptop.
Yeah, it's like,
or maybe she like smacked him into the glass or something.
like,
I don't really know, but I thought
like,
I could
wait,
probably hit.
Why do you believe him when he says that he didn't do, like,
Again, this bitch is I'm like, clearly she's like, I don't know anything about my mom this whole movie. I don't know. Watch the Stab movies. Read her fucking book. Read Gail's book. I mean, it's all literally out there. There's not, and like Sydney's like, she can watch the movies, but like, how do I tell her about the really dark stuff? I'm like, I think the movies have the dark stuff. Like, I think it has all of it. You could probably fill in the good shit. That would be easy. But like, for some reason,
unless the Stab movies are directed by the Wayans brothers, like
yeah,
I think
exactly.
they're gonna depict it.
We don't know about the others. The first one in that universe was Robert Rodriguez, so I have hope for it. It'd probably still be a little silly though, because he also did like From Dusk Till Dawn and Sin City, but he did Sin City. Those are like kind of more serious, so maybe he could have nailed it. But you're right, like yeah, if it was more parody, but like at least the first 3 or 4, I would imagine, would probably be watchable, and they all have to do with Sydney until a certain point. So like if you're that curious about your mom and every time you ask her, she just like changes the subject like a weirdo, like maybe just read the books or listen to the audiobooks because kids don't read, and watch the movies. How hard is that? You would have learned everything, and you would have known. You shoot him in the head. She acts like she's never heard that. She acts like she's never heard anything, or that there's possibly 2 or 3 ghost faces as an option. She doesn't realize, there's always multiple ghost faces. Like that would be obvious from watching the movies, right?
For sure, each Stab movie is on TikTok in 180 parts that you can
100%.
watch. Like
clip, get the highlights. Someone could explain to you what how to survive a fucking. There's literally probably
Yeah,
that video of
there's
Brandy
a
is
Cliff
probably
Notes. There's a Cliff Notes
yeah.
with an
Like
AI
the
voice
information.
description. Yeah,
The
for sure.
information is available for this bitch, and she just acts like she's new to this fucking world. Like, is this your first day on Earth? That's what I was wondering.
Even if she's not going to be, full Gen Z and looking at TikTok, there's video essays of the Stab movies that go through every single one. Also, big surprise to me was that Sydney wrote a book, which is part of the reason why she hated Gail. Because
What do you
Gail,
mean?
so
Out
Sydney
of
wrote
Darkness?
out
Her
of
book?
Sydney
Yeah,
wrote the book.
in Scream 4. That's what she's there to promote.
Oh, that was in Scream 4? Okay, well, I'm glad she's profiting off that finally and could build a shitty panic room.
No, but she does. I think it's so funny how they like have just totally botched Gail's character at this point, because they like were flipping her back and forth so many times. It's like she's good by the end of the movie, then she's bad again at the beginning, and she's an asshole. And then is she going to be, oh, she's okay, but really is she by the end? Like in Scream 6, they're like, oh yeah, remember my ex-husband who I was so sad that he died? I wrote a book all about it, and I blame the other girl. Like, what? Bitch, what the fuck? Like, you said you were gonna do none of that, and you did all of it. Like, get out of here. So even in Scream 6, I was like, oh, nobody should trust this bitch. So of course, when she shows up just running somebody over, I'm like, that actually tracks, I guess. But just with the shitty direction they've gone with Gail, I just feel like this movie, they're like, there's no point to bring the twins back unless they were attached to Gail. And I think all three of them should have been exorcised from the movie.
Speaking of the twins, I felt real bad for the twins because what were they in this movie for? Like, I don't really blame.
Hey, we were part of 5 and 6, so it's like, okay, guys, don't worry about it. Garbage. They should have not been in it. I
don't really blame any. This movie just feels like a paycheck movie. Like everyone who's in it's just like, hey, I need money. I got to pay my agents. I got to pay my lawyers. But like,
yeah,
like the twins were so good in 5 and 6 for their monologues, essentially being the horror experts and like
she was.
Yeah, well, like here's the rules of the requel and all this stuff.
Chad was the eye candy.
Yeah, as he should be.
He was adorable, and like you just want to fall in love with him because like who doesn't want to fall in love with him?
We love him in Hard Eyes, so
yes.
like we still just want to support him. But like, yeah, like the actress's name Jasmine. She starts to have a monologue about like the rules, and then they even say like, hey, what do we say about the rules thing? And then she's like, no, we're gonna do it. But that, like, even that feels off and doesn't fit in this movie because the movie doesn't follow the rules. Like there's no talk about anything other than like nostalgia.
It's all about nostalgia bait and AI,
which is part of her thing. But
yeah, but also, I mean, literally, like her character's in this movie as nostalgia bait for 5 and 6, which is ridiculous. Just fun fact about this, but Mason Gooding, who plays Chad, he was battling like severe infection of E. coli when he filmed his part in this movie. Oh. So he's like, I was sitting at the bar, like in between takes, like I had a Home Depot bucket and I was just vomiting into it. So he was like, I barely remember filming.
He was doing more than vomiting if it was
he
E.
said,
coli.
Well, Chad's supposed to be kind of emotionally drained after the last couple films, so this kind of works, like he was pretty ill, and so it kind of worked with it. But I was like, I just wish they weren't in it, because then it's like the fact that they don't address what Tara and Sam are doing is like irritating. Yeah, and that they just mentioned that, oh yeah, well, we were friends with someone who was like Billy Loomis's secret love child or whatever, and it's like, okay, but like, what, you guys were like the core four, now your guys are just following Gail wherever. Like, this feels stupid. Yeah, and and Chad and Tara got together in Scream 6 after he miraculously survived. Insane. They should have not been a part of this movie.
It feels like they don't have enough weight or clout to get out in the same way that like Jenna Ortega was able to get out.
I was wondering that too, because like I think it could be that, but like they also probably like are like you could use the paycheck and the
Yeah.
steady work and all that. So I understand it more. Melissa Barrera does not understand it though. She has she came out with some statements recently about how Scream 7 was terrible. It was all just using nostalgia bait to try and seem relevant, and that they probably faked the numbers and it didn't make that much money, which I thought was like, okay, maybe that's a little bit much. I'm sure that they didn't.
They were trying to sound a freedom it.
But then she said, yeah. But then she was saying that I think she ended by just saying like it was, the people who were with us in 5 and 6 who stayed on, like, I don't understand it and blah blah blah. And I was like, I mean, I kind of do, but I'm also like, I just wish their characters, just for the sake of like the universe, weren't in this movie, because it just feels like pointless. And like they do, but out of like all the other movies, I realized like they're never around for the third act bloodbath anyways.
Yeah.
They never make it to the end, so they are always like around to talk, and then they die or get almost killed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hesitant to throw out like the scab word, and people doing stuff just for the money, just because like contracts are really complex, and
they
if,
aren't
if
probably
Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega were originally supposed to be in the next one and the twins were a part of that, Melissa Barrera gets fired, so she's out of that contract. Jenna Ortega has all the clout in the world to get out of her
since
contract.
Wednesday, yeah.
And Mason Gooden hadn't done Hard Eyes at this point. Like,
yeah,
it can be really expensive and really hard to get out of a contract.
I think so.
Now, Nev Campbell, Courtney, all the people that showed up in that monologue of in the final act of like, everyone.
Oh
like,
my God. Don't get me started on the other AI bitches.
Everyone
make no sense.
Everyone's just trying to get a paycheck, like whatever. But like this movie's just a mess. And I understand needing to get money and all that stuff. But
the thing is like, yeah, just while we're on that,
Nev Campbell's not doing that much stuff nowadays. It's like,
no, she's not. Exactly.
She's in that Twisted Metal show. That's literally all I know she's done.
Great. And that all I like her from is Scream. Like I've never really seen her in anything else. I don't really care to. Like she's great as Sydney, but it's also
and
like
she got fucked by him in the last movie because they wouldn't pay her to come into Scream 6.
And now they're like, we need you, come back. So she's like, fine. But then it was like, okay, they're like, we can't just have Sydney. We need to get Stu, which I'm like, fine. Matthew Lillard. If that means more Matthew Lillard, I would never say no. I'm fine with that always. And the fact that like the AI of him is bad, but it also like it's aged up appropriately and he has like the scars. Like I get it, it's AI, but like it makes sense why they made him that way in the movie. Whereas like when you see Billy's mother and you see fucking Roman, her brother, Sydney's brother, when they're on the AI screens, and then you see
Dewey.
And Dewey, so Dewey's fine because he's like around the age that he was when he died. So that makes sense. But why the fuck would they age up like Roman and Billy's mother? Like they died a long time ago. Any footage of them would be from like 30 years ago, like at least 30 years ago. So like, why the fuck are they aged up? Nolan couldn't answer that either. I was like, I think they fucked up. They were just like, we're going to age them up, or it's too expensive to age those people down because in real life, that's how old they are. But I was like, why do they have to show them like old now? That makes no sense. And it doesn't affect Sydney in any way. The fact that they also, just to slap us in the face, brought Dewey back to say, I died because of you. It's like, no, he died saving Sam, not Sydney. Fuck, she wasn't there until he died. Like she didn't show up until after he was dead. So fuck off, bitch. He almost died for you multiple times. I'll give you that. But the final time was really like a, come on, Kevin Williamson. We just saw that. You can't rewrite it.
Yeah.
Like get out of here. Don't try and pull that shit on us. Don't retcon this.
Yeah.
That was too soon.
Too soon.
But yeah, I guess it's AI, and like that was my whole thing with like the horror movie rules of this movie. There are none. It's just that nostalgia is all about. So they're like, it's less about the new characters and it's all about the original characters. But I'm like, that's not what any of the like. Yeah, the reboots always have the legacy characters, but it like we already addressed this in 5.
Yeah,
don't you think?
You've taken 2 steps forward and. Sorry, 1 step forward and now 2 steps back because you established new characters to continue the story. And now we're going back
And you're
And now
telling
we're-
us that those are
now-
the ones that actually matter.
Yeah, now we're grounding it back in the original characters that we can't keep the story on, because even like Sarah, when we were watching this, she's like, so am I wrong in saying that Sydney's the problem because everyone is just trying to kill her and all these people are dying around her because of her? At this point, it's now Sydney is becoming selfish because everyone's dying around her.
Bitch, and she would not be living this casually. If we're gonna bring her back, put her in a place. I mean, after Scream 4, right?
Yeah.
Scream 4 is like her own family, okay? That should be the last fucking nail in the coffin of like, I'm going up to Alaska, I'm moving to a cabin in the middle of the fucking woods, and I'm gonna prepare for my life to be alone. I maybe will marry a hunting man up there, and we'll just fucking be on alert at all times. But that is our life now. That's what she should be doing, having a like guarded up place, like the fucking Final Destination grandma.
Yeah,
like and fucking Laurie Strode in Halloween. There's no way in hell that a final girl, if you're going to bring a final girl into it, and it's been at least 7 movies, she needs to have a fucking armed fucking guard place. Like everything needs to be like guarded up to the ass. Like this is such a like we're back in like Scream 4 territory. And I feel like it's 3 movies later. Sydney should be smarter than all of this. And so this is like actually my question I did want to ask you. Like, do you think this whole storyline with Sydney and her daughter, which feels it feels so similar to me to Scream 4, but like I do feel, I was going to ask, do you think this movie would work better if we hadn't gotten Scream 5 and 6? Like and gone in such a different direction and moved so far away from Sydney as the storyline that like coming back to her now feels like really lame.
100% this would work better if it came before Scream 5. Like if this was Scream 5, 100% it would work better because one, we remove all the New York references that are not applicable in any way.
And they are not funny. I don't get the joke if there is one.
Yeah. But then also like, yeah, like I guess it would carry on like Scream 4. She's, fighting her own family, spoilers, but then it's like she has her own family. Like
now she has her own daughter and like a kid. Like it would be years later, but like it would work if you had just made this in 2022 instead of now. And then you did 5 and 6.
Now, whether or not you made it in 2022, I don't know if it works as well as that because that's a pretty big gap. I think that's one of the reasons Scream 5 works so well is that it's like it's 10 years, so they have the original person in it, but it's not focused around them.
They did do the new Legacy sequel thing instead of like when we tried it in the 2010s.
They did the best Legacy sequel. Like
yes, they did. And they're really like the template. I mean, that and like Halloween probably are like the 2 now that are like probably the most like just everyone tries to copy that formula.
Yeah.
And this movie feels like it just is weird because it's so disconnected from any of that.
Yeah. But like, I mean, yeah, it would work better than it did now.
Yeah, we've dealt with all this stuff before and we've moved on from Sydney. So it just feels like we're going backwards in time. And I don't know what new things Sydney can bring to the table. I liked the stuff that Billy's love child was bringing to the table. I thought that was interesting. And the fact that like she liked to kill was really interesting and probably would have gone on to be maybe like the ultimate villain in the franchise. Who knows?
Billy's love child, Melissa Barrera, is 1,000 times better than whatever the fuck Tatum is. I mean, I would say I'm above average casual fan of Scream. Like I really like Scream. I like it a lot. I haven't studied it quite as much as you have. The idea of Tatum being like the original character Tatum being such a core part of this character, I wanted to ask you, has Tatum ever been mentioned outside of the first Scream movie? Because I was trying to remember, like, is this the girl that got killed in the garage door?
That's what Nolan asked, and I said, yes, that's Tatum. It was Dewey's sister, actually, which is like when you think about how little she's mentioned, it's pretty shocking.
I had no realization that was because I was like, wait, is this Hayden Panettiere's character?
No.
But I was like, wait, no, she didn't die.
Herbie's alive.
Yeah.
She was back in 6. If Kirby was in this movie, I would have given it like fucking at least another star.
Like, has Tatum been mentioned since?
Yeah. So briefly, she's barely mentioned in anything. She's only ever mentioned by Dewey or Sydney, but when they talk to each other. But like this movie put way more emphasis on her than we've ever seen. I think the longest mention of her, which is like silent, but is Scream 5 when Dewey's going through his like fucking trailer in the morning and doing his stuff, and like you're just like it shows you around his place, and it shows you he has like a ash box, like a little ash box with her name on it, and that's it. But like I think they might mention her name in 4, but like yeah, they never mentioned Tatum really ever after that until now. And I'm like, it's just weird. I don't know. It just feels like we're trying to go back to the original. Like this movie, they tried to like redo the same original movie formula, but to like switch it so that it's like reversed. Everything that they did was reversed. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Because they're talking about how this movie ends, like the third act climax is like someone taped to a chair outside in the courtyard, like the first movie begins. And I'm like, that's not cool. I don't care. Like, what? That's not an element of a Scream movie that I need. Like that does nothing for me. There's no horror movie trivia in this movie outside of the first scene.
Also, the opening act of Scream 1 has nothing to do with Neve Campbell. So like
thank you. So it's not even like it's a legacy throwback to her. It's like
that's not gonna cause her trauma. She read about
like,
it or heard about it in the news. Yeah. Like,
and I never watched the movies, obviously. Like I don't know what you're referencing would be great. That they also have like the worst Ghostface reveal of all time with the very first one in this movie, because as soon as Gale hits him with the car, you're like, well, he's probably going to get away. But the fact that he doesn't, and then they unmask him and it's just nobody. You're like,
they blatantly rip off Hard Eyes, where they kill the person. Like, I don't know who this is.
Yeah, I was like, I already saw this recently, and also like that was fine in Hard Eyes, but like in a Scream movie, like the only time that has ever worked is Scream 6, when the guy unmasks after he kills Samara Weaving, and you're like, but then the story continues following him, and then he's the ultimate victim of the opening scene to the Ghostface.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was such a cool, unique twist, right? Say like just everything that the 5 and 6 did that really like added new, fresh elements to it, or like even the way that they kind of inverted the nostalgia that this movie's trying to do, they like just fail. They're just recreating it a lot of the time, or like and just out of order. But like literally, there's just no oomph to anything. And once the other ghost faces unmask, I'm still like, well, duh. And also, why is no one a teenager? There's no teenage ghost face in this movie for the first time ever. That was weird.
Yeah, that was okay. So let's get into the final act. And I want to start the final act with the coffee shop scene when she's talking to.
Yes, that's my other least favorite scene of the whole movie, when she's on the phone with her mom.
Okay, so
Neve Campbell, what are you doing?
So first off, this was further proof that Neve Campbell's like, I'm not doing a chase scene, because the only running she does is from the TV studio to the coffee shop. Now, why she didn't take a car?
She stops halfway through. Oh, she goes to the car, but then she's like, oh, I don't have my keys, or I can't find them. So like, I'm just going to run. I'm like, I think going in the house and getting the keys would have been faster. So
and then she's like, oh, I can't go any further because I don't have signal. So I have to stay in the spot. Like,
I'm
you
gonna
really
lose
just don't
the
want
video of you. It's like, yeah, that's probably the real reason, honestly, because that made no sense to me in any of this and the service. And I was like, but you're on the phone with her. She can tell you what she's seen. Like, you don't have to be on the video. Like, Jesus.
I will give them some credit. I do like the idea of like somebody watching something from a ring camera sort of situation and then like saying, oh, I see him on the other side, shoot him right now. Like, I do like that. It doesn't fit though in this, because
why did you need to do that though? He can't get in.
Also, I almost,
panic room all over again.
Why it is. I almost threw my phone at the TV when she's like, put your AirPods on. And then there's like a whole scene of her putting the phone down, pulling her AirPods out of her phone, out of her pocket, and then putting them in, and then saying, "Okay, I can hear you." Like, I'm like,
and then she says,
"What is this?
I can't hear the killer anymore." And I'm like, "No shit, bitch! You just put in your fucking AirPods." Like, I would be like, "God, my kid's a dumbass. I really should have fucking talked to her about this, maybe
like,
once."
You can tell someone how to check a gun if the safety's on without AirPods on. Like, you don't have to go through this to advertise AirPods.
Put her on speaker, and even still, it doesn't matter. But it's like the AirPod reference was dumb, but the fact that they take a minute to like show them being taken out is stupid. But then the fact that she follows that up with, "Wait, I can't hear the killer anymore." It's like, yeah, the sound canceling fucking headphones might be the reason for that.
Now
I'm like,
grab
they
your
left that in the
AirPod
movie.
and hold it until it says transparency mode on, and then we can shoot the fucker.
I don't get that reference. I don't have.
You don't know how to
AirPods.
operate AirPods? Okay.
I'm sure, but I just use Samsung because I'm cool.
Well, it's the same controls, just
I'm
different
sure it
brands,
is.
but
Whatever. Anyways, that is funny though, because I was like, this scene was so dumb though. Like she had she had a big old shelf with a ton of shit at a table. I'm like, did we know this Ghostface? Like either of any of the suspects, which when they go to the insane asylum, I was like, well, it's clearly that guy because he's lying and saying that Stu was there. And second, it's Ethan Embry, who's like a semi-famous actor from the 90s. He's been in a ton of shit. I've always remember him from Vegas Vacation. He played the what's his face? The young son, Chevy Chase's son. In the the National Lampoon's movies.
Yeah. I just couldn't tell you who they are.
Rusty. He played Rusty.
That's who I was
going to
say. Is Rusty.
And he has shut up. He has the fake ID, and he's Mr. Nick Papagiorgio in
Obviously.
Vegas. Anyways, okay. Well, that's what people always remember him as that. But man, does he not look as good as he used to? Jesus.
But like I liked that scene and like her saying like he's there. Okay, shoot now. Like that.
Yeah.
That idea is good. It just doesn't fit in this movie because
don't know
everything
where it
else
would
is
fit.
sucked up to this point. It would fit
Yeah, maybe-
in the movie Drop.
Yeah.
Where like all that is about like
They're already using
webcams,
those fucking
like
cams,
webcams and all this stuff. Like if there was a scene
That's
where
great call, Jace.
where it's like if she was talking to the babysitter and he's like, I can see him. You grab the gun, shoot through the door right there. Now. Like that would be really good. In here, it doesn't work.
It's like shoot him in the head. What?
Also,
what?
I
was like, shoot him in the fucking head. How many times do I need to repeat myself?
You know what? If I was Sydney, I'd be like, hey, when you get out the door, just as you approach his head, shoot him through the body until you get to the head, and then just unload the clip.
Just
there.
Shoot him in the dick. See
just
what
like
happens.
keep shooting him until you get to the head, and then we're good. Like it was.
Yeah.
But also, I hate Tatum. Like that,
I hate her 100%.
I was actively rooting for her to die. I'm just like,
too.
I hate you. I don't want you to survive through this. So,
I don't want you to be in the next movie. After Melissa Barrera, this is an embarrassment of a character. And it's like she's just nothing. And she's so boring. And then she's like, I'm named after a victim. It's like, yeah. And one of the dumbest victims in the fucking garage door. Like, Jesus, one of the worst.
Also,
like,
they made you look like Hayden Panettiere the best they could.
No, but also Nolan was saying she looks like the chick she was in the I Know What You Did Last Summer reboot, but she was in she played Dave Bautista's girlfriend in Glass Onion. And I was like,
Madeline Klein.
Yeah, Madeline Klein.
Yeah.
She totally
I
looks
would
like
have
a
cared
Jake
about
Gyllenhaal.
her.
Yeah, exactly. And so I will ask you this question now, but I literally, as soon as this film ended and I was so angry still, I had to go back and watch. I was like, I need to know. And I rewatched the I Know What You Did Last Summer reboot that we both were like, that wasn't very good.
Yeah.
Fucking masterpiece compared to this. I was like, this is 1,000 times better. So that was my first thought as soon as this movie ended, was like how sad that is that the I Know What You Did Last Summer reboot is better than Scream 7. But I was like, I had to go back and watch it again. And I actually liked it a lot more on the second rewatch. And she's in that movie. I was like, she should have been in the other one, would have maybe been better. But like still, I just was like, God, if Tatum doesn't die in the garage door of all places, I will be disappointed. I was hoping maybe. And then Joel McHale, he gets shot up with bullets or whatever, or like stabbed up a bunch of times.
That whole kill scene reminded me of I think it was like Saw 2 or something, like with the plastic sheeting and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And also like why are they doing construction at the house now too? Like we didn't They didn't
They
need
had-
to have that plus, unless that had to do with the reason that the fucking panic room wasn't done. Again, I think it's got to be a construction issue.
I thought that also. I'm like, they really fucked the insurance company with this break-in because they're
Yeah.
like, oh my God, we got to redo the entire house because a killer poked a couple holes in the wall. Like,
I mean, clearly the attic was the weak space. Like nobody, the cops swept the house. They didn't check the attic. Are you telling me that? I mean, honestly, after all the Netflix docs I watched, I'm not surprised. Those idiots fucking are just like, get me out of here. I want to go home.
to answer your question about, I know you did last summer.
Yeah, I think it's better.
It is better, and it's better
And
does not mean that it's a really good movie. But I remember when you and I were texting about it, we're like, we really like the new cast. We like the new younger cast were really good. The question of making whatever
Freddie
Prince
Prinze Jr.
Jr. as
Freddie.
the killer was
Give me some
questionable. I
honestly
got
like
half
it.
of it.
I like it so much more on the rewatch, honestly. And he's just like, I'm happy for him because like that character Ray has always been like a lifeless shithead, and I just hate him. And so the fact that they were able to make him like a villain, and I was like, hey, they took a swing on that movie, and they didn't just do the average, like they actually semi-connected it to the original plot, which I think was the hardest part of that movie. And they brought Sarah Michelle Gellar back as a ghost in the dream. That worked incredibly. She looked gorgeous. Like I just really thought where that movie excelled was like they took a risk on the story wise and like the way that they changed things compared to the originals. They had like some good funny moments. They had great new cast with chemistry. Like I really enjoyed a lot of that movie, and I was like, wow, I really hated every moment watching Scream 7. And the two killer reveals at the end, I think, are just like you're just like, okay, so you're mad because like I wasn't in Scream 6 and I didn't go to New York, and now you're gonna make a new one. Bitch, they already tried that in Scream 4. Okay. Fuck off.
I was gonna say the reveals of this one are the worst of the franchise because
all three.
Yeah.
All three reveals. I mean, not all three. There's one franchise, but
all
three of the reveals in this movie are just awful.
Are you talking about the first reveal of who is that guy?
The guy, and they're like, who the fuck is that guy? Yeah. Like, done.
But then the final reveal of the two, I thought
the second one is another one. You're like, wait a minute, who? Oh, wait, it's that weird guy from the insane asylum.
The
so
guy
you
we've seen in one scene. It's
again,
like, we have no attachment to. It has no relation to any of this. I mean, at least in Scream 2, we see Loomis's mom. And she's there at like the very beginning. She's only in one scene.
She's in a lot of scenes throughout the movie. Debbie Salt. She's the reporter, and she annoys the fuck out of Gail the whole movie. And then like Gail snaps at her, and you're like, oh, this nice woman. And then you're like, oh, this bitch. I love it.
This is why we're doing it. You're the historian. I remember her like in the beginning, and then the reveal, and I'm like, okay, she's related to the story. This guy's like, hey, I was in one scene, and then now I'm here.
But either way, it's like it feels like the killers in this movie, outside of like Anna Camp, which is the neighbor, again, one of the most obvious ones where you're like, it's probably her, because why would they hire Anna Camp to be in like two scenes, you know?
Yeah.
And so for me, I felt like it was just the other guy, though. You're like, okay, well, this is pointless. Like we don't care about him. But then her, it's like obvious. So it just was like totally lackluster every single time someone took off a Ghostface.
The thing that annoyed me so much about the reveal of like Anna Camp in one, like Anna Camp is really good. She's a great actress. She's good in everything she's in, and she's really good in this. But like
Ghostface vibe, she's perfect when she's in Ghostface mode. Like it
great.
reminded me of Emma Roberts in Scream 4 when she goes unhinged crazy, and that's how I knew from the minute that they cast her that she was going to be a Ghostface. So I'm like, they're not going to cast her and have her be normal. Like she's great when she goes extra.
Yeah, but the thing I was like, we've already done this in Scream 5. Scream 5. The whole thing is they are toxic fans, and they're creating their own thing. But the difference is in Scream 5, the entire movie is dedicated to you being drawn to Jack Quaid and liking him.
Oh, and I know.
And then that spurs Scream 6 and that attachment. And now we're totally detached from Neve Campbell. Like now we're on this whole other thing. But then they just bring it back, and she's like, you didn't go to New York. I read your book. I was obsessed with it.
I
went
killed my
crazy.
husband and my son, which was like really underdeveloped. It
I
could
went
have been
crazy.
cool.
Went to a nut house and met these other two guys
Who used to work in Google AI and then he now works at a nut house as the janitor. How did you work in AI before now? Like, that's not maybe 5 years ago, but like, are you telling me for 30 years you did that and now you're a janitor at a fucking insane asylum? What a change in careers, man. Usually you'd think he'd retire, but no, I'm going straight to the insane asylum because I'm insane. What the fuck are they? What the fuck? That made no sense. And then like they met at the insane asylum, but like she kills her son in maybe the best kill of the whole movie because like all the kills are pretty lame, but the only good one, semi good, I think, is the one with the bar tap, and that's her son. And she or the other guy kills her son, and she's like, "Yeah, it was fine, no big deal." She's like an afterthought that she says.
I mean, it has to be the other guy because the physical strength to pick up a teenager by the head and just spike them on a beer tap. Also, I hated that kill because this entire movie, the kills are very gory, which doesn't feel Scream.
I don't know. Scream. People said 5 and 6 were too gory, especially 6.
Scream is violent, but I would never say that Scream is gory. Like the kill when they're on the stage and like slices or guts and they fall out, and then like the beer tap spike. It was like these feel like Final Destination kills.
They felt like Halloween kills with Michael Myers is what I felt like.
Yeah, okay.
Especially the beer tap. I'm like, he does that at least 5 times throughout the like newest trilogy alone, but not like beer taps, but like he picks people up and puts them on spiky things. Like he loves doing that. That's the thing, because Michael is huge and can do that kind of shit without like anybody putting up a fight. But like Ghostface shouldn't be able to have that kind of strength. This feels like he's totally out strength. Like he's not the Hulk. This is just a regular teenager. It's supposed to be because they're adults. Maybe they're saying that's why. But like again, it had to be him. But still, that like the fact that they don't even touch on the fact that like this woman was fine with her son dying is like really lame. Like at least that could have been maybe interesting to play with at the end.
So it like Scream 5 and 6 are more violent than the previous ones, but even 5 and 6 are not really that gory. Like Dewey gets stabbed a bunch when he dies, but like you don't see his guts falling out on the floor. Or
no,
like
but you see guts in 6 briefly. I think the girl that like when she's it was what's her face? Mindy's girlfriend, the twins. It was like her girlfriend in 6, like gets really sliced up and like her stomach, like her guts are showing, but she doesn't like they're not out of her body. But then she also like falls and hits like things on the way down. It's pretty graphic, but like again, this is pretty minimal compared to what we've seen before. Like,
well, and then the whole movie ends with.
But then this feels
Sydney,
like when they do it, it's too gory. I agree.
Well, then it ends with Sydney and Tatum just shooting her face off. Like they both just unload a clip on her and like her face is gone.
I was like, what about the other killer? And then I was like, oh yeah, they just shot him in the face already. Yeah. So that was not even interesting. But it's like, it was just like all these things that they do. It's just none of them. They maybe like there's things where you can tell they're really setting it up. Like they think it's going to be a big moment, but it's like all just falls short. There's no tension, no inventive kills. No like real connection between the story or anything else. And AI is the only thing I could think of besides the nostalgia bit as for like something that they're commenting on. But again, when they mention that they're just all about the nostalgia and that they're using AI, that doesn't really say anything about it. Like it's not like them commenting on it. They're just calling out that those are things now, which is not Scream at all. You're supposed to dive in and talk about the like, you know, and give examples. Like they only give a couple, but they barely, it's just about nostalgia. That's all it is.
Yeah. It's like if we're going to hold a standard to horror movies about like talking about AI, I feel like we have to hold them to like influencer or influencers. Like that's a movie that really made you think about how AI could be utilized.
Thank you. The way when people, it's like the way that you're using AI should be scary or like, oh shit, that looks really real. Like not shitty AI that's obvious from the get-go of like, obviously we know that's Matthew Lillard, but like clearly that's AI scars that they added to him. And it's like, couldn't you just give him real scar makeup and like not have him shoot in his own house or wherever the fuck you're filming this shit? You know what I mean? It's like they have them film these scenes and you're like, were these people even on set or did they just film themselves on their phones and send it in?
That's
Like, that's the
interesting.
thing.
I thought Matthew. See, I kind of thought the opposite. I thought Matthew Lillard, like, I thought they put the makeup on him to like
I
have
thought
the
it looked
scars.
like AI CGI
I mean,
or
it
something.
kind of looked
Maybe not
fake.
AI, but
It kind of
CGI.
looked fake, but I don't know. But like, I thought like this is weird that you're doing a real person covered in makeup saying the lines and saying it's AI when like
But
I
I
think
think
it
that would
is.
have been better.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it would have been. Maybe that's part of it. I don't know, but I was like, I don't know. This feels like unrealistic
But
deep
that's what it
faking.
should be if they're deep faking. It should be so realistic that, like,
Yeah.
as much as okay, the original Running Man is not a great movie, but they use like obviously like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
most
yeah, yeah.
realistic AI in the movie. Gets the point across, okay?
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
nothing scary about obviously fake Stu, and anything that you guys do to try and tell me that Stu is really alive in this movie, I'm just gonna call bullshit because I know that is literally not Stu because the AI was terrible. Like
If
the
I
CGI in it. That's how I felt when I saw it.
if I learned that Matthew Lillard recorded all of these scenes from
I
his
wouldn't be
phone and
surprised.
just sent the video file, and I wouldn't be surprised by that.
These just feel like the laziest way to incorporate these people when they announced them like a year ago to drum up some sort of interest in this film. And I was like, well, obviously they're not all coming back from the dead as zombies or like fucking ghosts. So like, you know, we got Ghost Billy. We can't have Ghost everybody. But like, I was like, really, Billy's mother and like Roman, like people who were barely in anything. Like, we don't. I mean, it just feels like you're really grasping at straws here.
I think I would have loved the idea of or not Billy, Stu still being alive because I want to see Matthew Lillard on
Outside
screen.
of the AI and the CGI, I thought Matthew Lillard was fun and good as like adult Stu, and he's still like stuck in that same way that he
Yeah.
like, I always had a thing for your Sid. I was like, oh, just the fact that he's saying those lines again, I'm okay with that. And I wish he was real because so this is interesting. I don't know if you read this in the trivia, but I read that they did film another scene that was originally attached to the end of the movie for test screenings, but it wasn't like a post credit, but it was a scene of like it would be like after, you know, Sydney and Tatum walk off and the music plays, then it would go to like Stu watching the news on TV about it, and he really was alive.
Of course they recorded that.
But get this. So Matthew Lillard says that when they attached it at the end of the film with like without a break between like the end of like the Sydney Tatum thing, he said it tested poorly, so they took it off. But he was like, I thought it should have been a post-credit stinger, and I think it would have hit better. And I was like, I totally agree with that. And also, I would have been fine from the get-go if Stu was alive. Just give it to me. That's all I wanted. I don't want AI Stu. I want real Stu. Like this just feels like they're teasing us with all the AI stuff, and then it wasn't even convincing. And everything else about this movie feels like Kevin Williamson just wanted to make like Halloween because it's like literally the way that the teenagers are walking and meeting up to and from school, just like Halloween. Ghostface disappears or like appears randomly in the darkness, his mask, and then disappears backwards.
Yeah.
Ghostface doesn't do that shit. He's fucking tripping and like, you know, he's just like, there's someone on the phone. Like, it doesn't make sense. There's also like the whole psych ward subplot feels like straight out of a Michael Myers, like Halloween movie. That's always the thing. And there's also like homages. I felt like the whole attic and like some other scenes were like cut out of like Black Christmas. And I was just like, I get that this is like you're gonna pay homage to slashers, but like don't do that right now. We're in Scream. We need to stay modern. He's going back too far to the 70s right now. This is like, I love the 70s. I'm all for 70s slashers.
Yeah.
But like not when we're supposed to be modern and talking about today.
Yeah.
That's why I feel so at odds with it. And it's not like the only thing outside of like from the 2018 reboot is like the whole thing with the like Judy Greer. She's the young, like the daughter of Jamie Lee, but she's really overprotective to her daughter, the granddaughter, who then has to find her courage by the end of the movie. And I was just like, this is the same plot.
Yeah.
Scream 7. Why they just took it from there because they're lazy, and then the rest of it is like Halloween, and I'm just like, there's nothing here that's clever or meta or any DNA of Scream outside of Sydney, and she's still it doesn't really feel like Sydney.
Yeah, it's exhausting and not fun. And honestly, even if they did it, even if they did include that Matthew Lillard or that Stu ending,
Post
I
meta, yeah.
I wouldn't have even seen it because I checked out the moment after they killed the killer, and she's like, "Are you okay?" She's like, "I'm Sidney Prescott's fucking daughter." I'm like, I'm done. I'm out. I got nothing
Yeah.
left.
I thought she was about to say, "I'm Sydney fucking Prescott." I was like, "Bitch, you are not, and neither is she right now. This is a fan movie made by fans, not by the OG guy. This is not his film." I honestly just like the more I think about this movie, and then we talked about it. It just I do feel better getting this out, but like, my God, the fact that I Know What You Did Last Summer made a reboot better than this is just so upsetting. When you had Scream has probably what 1,000,000 times more potential than I Know What You Did Last Summer franchise, at least.
Oh, just in sequels alone, it's
Yeah,
it's
there's
it's a
just so
lot.
many more ideas, and they've done 7 of them. There's still thousands more ideas than anything you could do with an I Know What You Did Last Summer franchise, and they still did it better. I don't know. Throw my hands up. I can't fucking do it anymore.
Thank God we're done with that. Ready to not talk about Scream 7 for a while, but I'm glad we did it. I feel better afterwards.
I think I do. I don't know. We'll see. When Scream 8 comes out, we might have to do this all again.
It's gonna
There we go again.
gonna
Didn't
become
fucking learn the lesson.
the franchise that we loved to the franchise that we hate.
I never thought I'd see the day, and the fact that it's here now, I shouldn't be surprised because we're living in the worst timeline, in the worst year of ever on Earth. I feel 2026. It's just been garbage from day one. So I don't know, but hopefully maybe next year things could turn around in all areas, because this is Scream of all things should be consistent and maintaining quality at this time. That's what we need it more than ever right now.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna get back to things that we do like and things that we are interested next week. And a movie that you have seen that I need to see, that I've been waiting to watch, just popped up on Hulu, so it seems like the perfect time for us to talk about it. Renee, what are we watching next week?
We're going to be watching the latest film from Osgood Perkins, who directed Longlegs and The Monkey, which we've done episodes for both and big fans here. And his third film that he shot back to back to back with those other 2 movies was Keeper. And so that's what we're going to be talking about. It just dropped on Hulu. Apparently, according to the latest data, it is the number 2 most popular movie on Hulu right now.
Ooh.
Which is great. It didn't make a ton of didn't make a ton of money in theaters, but The Monkey and Longlegs made a shit ton. So they're good to go on that one. And he made all of these like super cheap with basically the same crew. And this one was like something that they kind of just came up with while they were shooting The Monkey, I want to say. And they shot it afterwards with Tatiana Maslany, who's also in The Monkey. And
Loved her in The Monkey.
She was so good. And the one thing about The Monkey was like I would love more of her in it, because she unfortunately passes per a third of the way through. So this movie, she's like up front and center the whole time. And it's a really great movie. I thought it was a really cool, like kind of like The Shining a little bit vibes, but it's very different from Longlegs and The Monkey. It's a whole different tone. It's kind of like a dark fairy tale. I don't know. It's very unique. I don't recommend watching the trailer. I think just watch it if you haven't seen it. Jason, I'm excited for your reaction, because I've been waiting for you to watch this movie so we could talk about it, because a lot of people did not like it when it came out, and I thought they were crazy. But I always think that. I mean, I can't believe I didn't shout it out already in the intro, but I just saw Scary Movie 6 and everyone says that sucks online. And I think it's just people who hate life. So I loved it. It was great. Go see it. But yes, Keeper also is a great movie.
Yeah, I'm excited to see this because, I mean, it's wild that Osgood Perkins did these 3 movies like back to back to back, but they're like not related at all. They're not a trilogy. And so
it's his own trilogy, but like they're totally unrelated stories. And I think it's like their creative juices, he said, were just cooking really well together, and they were just like on fire, and they kept having like ideas and sparks. And that's why they kept busting out shit. And I was like, that's like the best reason ever to make 3 movies that like back to back to back. You know what I mean? I love that
Yeah.
answer. Not like we were all really short on money or whatever. So
Well, I'm excited to watch it, excited to talk about it. But that's it for this week. We'll see you next week on the regular exclusive podcast.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. We out here.